Welcome back to The Deep Dive. I'm Lex.
And I'm Vera.
And to all our C9 followers on the podcast and the business page, a huge welcome. We have a really essential deep dive for you today.
We really do. This one is, well, it's aimed squarely at Australian business owners and C-level executives. If you're anywhere near digital transformation, field ops, or, mobile revenue streams, you really need to tune in for this.
Our mission today is to give you a bit of a shortcut. We've gone through the sources, and we're detailing how this reliance on older mobile tools is causing a measurable financial leakage.
And we're not just talking about slow performance. This is actual, quantifiable loss of revenue.
Yeah.
We're going to show you exactly what the market leaders are doing instead to really capture that 5G advantage.
Right.
The central idea is this, that switch from 4G to 5G. It wasn't just a speed bump. It was a fundamental shift. It made the whole concept of a good enough mobile app completely obsolete, really since early 2024.
So if your app isn't native?
It's losing your money.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Okay, let's get right into that measurable leakage. You have a really concrete and frankly painful example from the field. So paint the picture for us. This is from early 2025.
Right. Picture this. Mount Isa, Queensland. It's 38 degrees out. You've got a senior electrical contractor on a massive mine site.
Yeah.
They've just lined up a high-margin job, a variation worth $180,000 in gross profit. But, and this is the key, they have to generate the formal quote on the spot, right now.
And the network's good?
The network is perfect, flawless. They're on Telstra 5G, pulling down speeds close to 1.2 gigabits per second. I mean, infrastructure is just screaming.
But the app?
But the app, it's a hybrid React Native wrapper. The contractor launches it, and it takes 8.4 seconds just to pull the data it needs from a server back in Sydney.
8.4 seconds. That's an eternity when a client is standing next to you.
It is. And then once the data finally gets there, the app takes another 6.2 seconds to actually render the complex quote into a PDF.
So we're at, what, almost 15 seconds?
Nearly 15 seconds of just awkward silence watching that loading spinner. And that delay is fatal in high-stakes B2B.
So what happened?
The client contact, who's standing right there, just pulls out his phone. He calls a competitor who he knows uses a proper 5G native iOS app.
And they get the quote instantly.
Instantly. Sub-2-second response. The result. That $180,000 in gross profit, it just vanished.
Yeah.
In less than 15 seconds.
That is just a staggering immediate loss. But
Sure.
But the real story here is when you scale that up.
Yeah, that's where it gets truly concerning. So that one contractor, with their company operating nationally, they had 42 field technicians. They calculated that this app latency was causing an 8% drop in their high-value, quote, win rate.
An 8% drop across 42 techs.
And when you run the numbers on that, multiple quotes a week, the annual lost revenue for that one company, just from app latency, was $11.8 million.
Wow.
It's a direct result of running old code on a brand new high-speed network.
So is this just a field services problem, or is this something you're seeing as like a systemic issue across Australian business?
Oh, it's absolutely systemic.
Yeah.
And we've got independent research that backs up the scale of this leakage. Deloitte Digital Australia, their 2024 report, it showed that large Aussie firms are seeing an 11.4% average revenue leakage.
And they trace that directly back to mobile.
Directly back to their mobile experiences failing to keep up with the network performance.
11.4%. I mean, that is a massive slice of potential revenue just gone. Because the software can't keep up with the speed.
Exactly. And that's before you even factor in productivity. Gartner's 2025 research, get this, it found Australian field workers are wasting, on average, 41 minutes every single day.
Doing what?
Just waiting for their slow legacy or hybrid apps to respond on 5G.
41 minutes a day. If you put a dollar figure on that per employee, what does it look like?
You're looking at around $29,000 per employee per year, just in lost productivity.
Wow.
And Accenture took it even further. They quantified that companies sticking with these non-native tools are giving up between 7 and 12% of potential new revenue.
So you're paying people to wait, and you're losing new business at the same time.
It's a double-edged sword. And that failure creates real pain, for both the customer and the employee.
On the customer side, I can imagine B2B buyers now have, what, zero patience?
Zero. The data shows 68% of B2B buyers will just abandon a supplier after just one. Poor mobile interaction.
And 5G has changed the definition of poor, hasn't it?
It's completely collapsed it. On 4G, maybe you'd wait 3 seconds. On 5G, that tolerance is now under 800 milliseconds.
So if your app takes longer than that to load?
The user just sees it as broken, obsolete.
And I can only imagine the chaos internally.
It's just as bad. We see techs so frustrated they're carrying 2 phones, the slow corporate one and their personal phone with a competitor's fast app on it, just so they can do their job properly.
Which is a huge security risk.
Massive. And worse, in sectors like mining and energy, there are documented near-miss safety incidents because the real-time safety apps, the ones for tracking or isolation permits, they lag by 4 to 12 seconds on 5G.
That's unacceptable when safety is on the line.
It's incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
So the uncomfortable truth here is that your most aggressive competitors, they fixed this.
When?
12 to 18 months ago, they've literally weaponized 5G. They invested in true native apps, Swift for iOS, Kotlin for Android, that give them sub-200 millisecond responses, proper offline resilience.
Okay, let's pause there, because you used a really important term, URLLC. For a C-level exec listening, what is URLLC, ultra-reliable, low-latency communication, and why can't my hybrid app just use it?
That's a great question. So look, the simplest way to think about URLLC is it's 5G's fast lane. It's a promise for mission-critical apps. It incredibly low latency, we're talking under 1 millisecond, and reliability of like 99.999%.
And a hybrid app can't get in that fast lane.
It just can't, because it's got all these layers of abstraction, these web views. It can't talk directly to the operating system or the modem to get that quality of service flag. A true native app can.
So it literally gets priority on the network for those critical tasks.
Exactly. For safety, for remote control, real-time trading, anything that can't fail. So if you're still using a 2021 hybrid wrapper, you are just voluntarily handing that fast lane and all the market share that comes with it to your competition.
Right. And this is usually the point where the conversation turns to solutions. Businesses realize they're bleeding cash, and they want the fastest, cheapest fix they can find.
Which leads them straight into a trap.
The threat we're calling the AI cowboy.
That's the one. You see these offers, $5,000 to $15,000 for an AI miracle app delivered overnight. We call it vibes-based coding.
What does that even mean?
It means they feed a vague idea into a large language model, copy whatever code it spits out, maybe run it once on their laptop, and then send you the invoice. For high concurrency enterprise app on 5G, it's a recipe for disaster.
And you have proof of this. Real-world disasters here in Australia.
We do. And these aren't small bugs. These are total architectural failures with huge financial penalties.
Give me an example.
Okay, a national transport firm. They bought a $12,000 AI-built compliance app. First day of launch, 220 users on 5G try to log in at once. And it hit a classic bottleneck, a single SQL-lite database connection. The entire app crashed nationwide for 4 hours.
What was the cost of that?
$1.9 million in penalties and having to ground their fleet, all because of zero load and concurrency testing.
And security is a huge one. The Queensland Health Network example is genuinely frightening.
It is. A security audit found their new AI-built telehealth app was sending patient data, including Medicare numbers, totally unencrypted over public 5G networks.
How does that even happen?
Default Firebase rules that the AI code just used without any security architecture review. The fix cost them $480,000, and they lost their federal funding for that program. It was a basic failure a human architect would spot in a second.
Or the IP disaster, the Melbourne law firm.
A huge one. They used an unlicensed open-source component provided by an AI consultant, which had what's called a viral GPL license.
And that means?
It means that if you distribute any software that uses it, you might be legally forced to make your own source code public.
So their entire proprietary client portal.
The whole thing potentially had to be open sourced. A catastrophic IP event, just from a developer who didn't understand licensing.
So the obvious question is, why is the code quality from these tools so bad for enterprise use?
It's all about context and testing. There was a 2025 study from the ACSC and the Software Improvement Group. They analyzed almost 200 AI-generated code bases.
And the results?
Terrifying. 94% had critical or high-severity vulnerabilities. 89% had zero unit tests. 97% had no architectural documentation at all.
So AI is good at average code for average problems.
Precisely. It cannot handle the very specific high-stakes security and concurrency needs of an Australian enterprise on 5G. Chasing that $15,000 fix is just a down payment on a much bigger bill later.
It's the rewrite tax.
Exactly. The core difference between that and a proper enterprise solution is architectural guarantees. The AI Cowboys, they can't guarantee things like load testing for 1,000+ users or mutual TLS encryption to protect data on 5G or sophisticated offline first sync.
You mentioned CRDTs before. Let's break that down for the executive. Conflict-free replicated data types. What's the bottom line impact of that?
Okay, so think about your field workers in a remote WA mine. No signal. They need to work offline for hours.
Right.
When they reconnect, the system has to merge all the data they created with everyone else's without errors or losing anything. CRDTs are a complex sort of mathematical way to guarantee that all those offline changes resolve correctly when they sync.
So it means fewer data errors, less manual fixing.
And much higher confidence in your data. It's a non-negotiable for serious offline work.
Which makes perfect sense. So let's talk about the path to certainty. We know skipping a proper discovery process it's the single biggest mistake.
It's where almost everyone goes wrong. Clients who skip that step and just chase a fixed price based on a guess, they almost always blow their budget by 40 to 80%.
So discovery isn't a cost.
It's risk mitigation. It's a critical investment.
But why can't I just send my big statement of work to 4 vendors and pick the cheapest? Why is this upfront collaborative discovery so vital for you at C9?
Because without it, we're just quoting on ghosts. The complexity of integrating true 5G features, dealing with your legacy APIs, guaranteeing scale. It all requires an intimate understanding of where you are right now.
So the discovery process is about digging all that up first.
It's about extracting all the unknowns, the technical debt, the real bottlenecks, and actually quantifying the ROI before we write a single line of code.
Okay, so walk me through the steps. This is a zero-cost process, but it provides huge value up front.
It starts with a 15-minute rapid intake call. We just ask 4 key questions. The most important one is, what's the single biggest quantified leakage, revenue, or productivity that you have today? 94% of prospects tell us that 15-minute chat alone gave them more clarity than weeks of sending out RFPs.
And then you get into the technicals.
Yep. The live systems walkthrough. 60 to 90 minutes where our senior architects look under the hood of your current systems. You walk away with a tangible 1-page current state heat map that shows you exactly where your tech debt and your 5G bottlenecks are.
And after you've identified the problems,
we do the live solution architecture sketch. We literally draw out the blueprint for the solution right there with you. The Swift and Kotlin native apps, the offline strategy using CRDTs, how we'll use 5G features like URLLC or edge compute. You see it all.
And then you get to the money, the thing the executive team needs.
The phased investment roadmap and hard ROI modeling. We break it down into manageable fixed price stages. Take a Brisbane utility client we had. Stage 1 MVP was a fixed price of $164,800. Took 9 weeks.
And the ROI?
The projected conservative ROI for just that first stage was $1.18 million in year 1. Purely from overtime reduction.
And that accuracy is really your whole pitch. You get a full PDF with a fixed price, fixed scope quote in 48 hours. And C9's average budget accuracy is plus or minus what, 4.7%?
That number is vital. The industry average is plus or minus 38%. That massive difference. That's the real cost of skipping discovery.
Let's just touch on the network again. We're past the rollout phase now. Is 5G in Australia genuinely ready for this?
Absolutely. The excuses are gone. We have 96.4% population coverage. Standalone 5G is live in all the capitals. Latency is routinely under 12 milliseconds. The network is sitting there waiting for the apps to catch up.
So what were the 3 big non-negotiable decisions that the winning companies made, the ones seeing that huge growth?
Okay, first, they stopped seeing mobile as a chore and started treating it as a strategic weapon. They mandated true native apps to exploit those core 5G features.
Second,
They refused to gamble on indicative pricing or AI Cowboys. They insisted on a proper phased discovery that proved the ROI before they spent the big money.
and the third.
They chose long-term partners, not short-term vendors. They demanded full knowledge transfer, 100% IP ownership, and architectural certainty.
The results really do speak for themselves. The Perth mining contractor, the 5G safety app that reduced incidents by 61%. What was the financial outcome?
It was incredible. It unlocked a $9.4 million insurance premium rebate. It wasn't just saving lives. It was a massive cash injection back into the business.
And on the revenue side?
A Queensland energy retailer. Their native field sales app lifted close rates from 34% to 58%.
Which added up to?
$22 million in new annual recurring revenue. I mean, these are the stakes of getting mobile right in this decade.
And that partnership piece, IP ownership, that's so critical.
It's non-negotiable. At C9, we do full knowledge transfer workshops, but crucially, an IP assignment deed is signed on day one. You own everything, the code, the docs, the architecture, forever.
No vendor lock-in.
It completely eliminates that risk and that inevitable rewrite tax down the line.
So here's our final thought for you, the listener, the executive who has to make this call. The choice you make on your mobile architecture today, it really is going to define your next decade in business. So are you going to passively accept that 11.4% revenue leakage? Are you going to just voluntarily hand over $29,000 per employee per year to your competitors who are already weaponizing 5G?
You need to quantify that leakage. You need certainty. So we invite you to book the zero-pressure, zero-cost 30-minute discovery call. In that call, we will help you quantify the leakage and give you accurate fixed price numbers for stage one. No fairy tales, just hard data.
Stop the revenue drain. It's time to start dominating the 5G decade with certainty.
C9 is Australia's leading custom software, apps, integration, and database developer company. The link to book your call is right there in the description.
Visit us at www.cn9.com.au, and if you found this deep dive valuable, please hit that follow button and share this with other executives who need this certainty right now.
We look forward to diving into your challenges.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.